Hi. Look at what I got. Look at what I got. Oh my gosh, we've got a microphone. And you know what that means? It means that we have a second way of filming and recording now too. Yay! Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. This is amazing. I also discovered, because we started posting the videos finally, I say excited a lot, and it is genuine and it is sincere, but I need to look up some synonyms. I need to look up some words for delicious and exciting in the dictionary. We're gonna challenge ourselves for that this week. Oh my gosh, I can't even wait. Anyway, this is the last week of our month, which is crazy because again, it has flown by. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having fun. I'm still making really good food, and I hope that you all are too. But just as with last month, and I think with all future months, let's set this goal for ourselves. I think with all future months, I'm going to take the last week of the month to do a month in review of everything that we covered, just in case you missed something along the way or you want to have a refresher or whatever. Welcome to our stress month in review. Cannot wait to get started. We are having a nice light easy salad today. I had a pretty late lunch, so I'm not super hungry, so this should be plenty enough to get me tied over and ready for the rest of this evening while we talk about stress. So without further ado, tie back your hair if you have to, put on an apron if you've got one, and let's get cooking good looking. There's a lot to be learned at life's table. Microphone. By preheating our ovens to 425 degrees. If you don't have an oven, that is okay. The things that we will be oven roasting don't need to be oven roasted. They will be just as delicious and just as fine as is. Should not be problematic. While we get that out, I'm going to get out a can opener and we're going to start with opening the garbanzos and draining them. We'll get a garlic press. We'll get a few things out as well. We open up our can of garbanzos and we drain them. We drain, this you still can't see, sorry about it. Give them a rinse, and I'm gonna let them just sit and drain for a little bit. Let me get out as well my baking pan. We're gonna set this aside over here with a little bit of parchment paper in it. For those of you that don't have parchment paper, it's gonna be okay. You're just gonna wanna do an extra good job of making sure that your pan is non-stick. Getting some extra oil on the bottom to ensure that nothing sticks, because things will stick very easily here. I'm gonna get started now with washing my pepper. Okay, we'll set that aside and we'll get out our knives and begin slicing and dicing. We will be oven roasting our pepper, our onion, and our chickpeas all together on the same pan. Give this a tap just to get all the extra goodness out, all the seeds and stuff. And then all these extra little pieces we can just set aside. We'll put them in the veggie scrap bag. I can't wait. We're gonna make soup later this week. It's gonna be incredible. I'm gonna just do a quick cut in half and another half as well. And I'm going to lay these on the pan already. We'll put them here. Skin side up, although I don't know that it matters. And we will get out our veggie scrap bag. Oh, you can see this too. Wow, this is such a game changer. I'm gonna need half of this onion. And the other half, of course, we're going to be using in our dish probably tomorrow. Let's talk about stress. When we think about stress, as we discussed in the very first week, a lot of times we get it confused with stressors. Like if you say things like, y'all are stressing me out to your coworkers, to your kids, to your friends, to your siblings, whoever it happens to be. They are not stress. They are stressors. The big difference being stress is the changes in our environment that we need to adapt to and we need to react to. It is our body's response to what is going on. I'm going to quarter this, but still keep the slices. Stress is just a change in our environment to which we need to adapt and we need to adjust. Stressors are the things actually stressing us out. Stress is just like our body's response to what's going on. It isn't actually the thing itself that is causing you stress. That is the stressor. And as much as we often think about stress being external, things in our outside environment are acting upon us and causing us stress, remember too that we are very good, unfortunately, at stressing ourselves out. Stress can be internal just as well as it's external. I'm going to get out a paper towel or two to dry my chickpeas. I'm going to take 2 paper towels for the top and 2 paper towels for the bottom. If you don't have paper towels, you want to just use regular towels, that's okay. Just make sure they're clean, please, and not super fuzzy because you don't want fuzzy chickpeas. I'm going to put these here, gently, carefully, lay them on the paper towel. And I'm just going to kind of like smush them around, not really applying too much pressure. I want to dry them. I don't want to crush them. And they don't need to be like 100% spick and span. But what comes next, I'm now going to transfer these to my baking pan. So we're going to get these spread out through the remainder. And now for my favorite part, everything is going to get a drizzle of olive oil. A sprinkling of 5 spice. Get some of that. Whoa. Okay. Well, we'll do a little there and a little there. And of course, we're going to mix it all together. So that will get pretty well interspersed. Everything gets a little salt. And everything gets a little black pepper. And just because we're here and we're having fun, everything gets a little kick of heat with our crushed red pepper. Slightly spicy. All right. And just as I said, we give everything a nice little mix so that it's not all clumped up in this one little area. All right. The onion and the red pepper don't necessarily need this kind of toss, but if they get mixed in, they get mixed in. Spread out the best of our abilities. So, stress comes from within just as well as it comes from without. And sometimes we're actually even better at stressing ourselves out than the external stressors are. I'm thinking about the times that, for example, the boss calls me into the office and says, hey, or sends me the email that says, hey, we need to talk later. And it's nothing crazy and it's nothing serious, but I've spent the minutes to hours leading up to this interaction thinking, well, it's probably the worst. And then I'm going to go through with 2 cloves of garlic to mince over the top. Back to stress. Generally speaking, we think about stress as like a negative thing, but there are many, many examples of it actually being a positive thing. Things like the promotion, things like getting married or buying a house for the first time, things like retirement or moving or graduating, things like celebrating birthdays and getting older. There are many instances of very stressful situations that are still looked upon as overwhelmingly positive. Generally, ask any parent. These are going to go into the oven for 30 minutes. I am going to give a flip halfway through, and we'll move on to making the salad itself. I've chosen my protein greens, which is super exciting. It says it's been washed 3 times, which is cool, but it's looking a little bit like it needs another wash, perhaps. There are some pieces you'll see. This is how you know that spinach and other greens are kind of going bad. If they aren't this like fresh, dry thing and instead they're kind of wet and wilted, it means that they're not necessarily fresh. So we're going to toss that one for sure. Mostly though, it's very good. But I am going to give this a rinse and then I'm going to put it in the solid spinner so that we get nice, relatively dry, crisp salad. Despite the fact that we just listed a bunch of examples of stress being bad and good, it's neither. It just is. And a great example of why we say that and why it is true is because different people get stressed out by different things. There are some people who cannot stand the idea of going to the dentist to getting their teeth cleaned. Just the thought of it is enough to get the heart rate going and to get our levels elevated. And there are some people, like myself, who kind of enjoy going to the dentist because I know that my teeth are going to get cleaned and it's not been a negative experience. Knock on wood, it hasn't been this overwhelmingly painful, negative, traumatizing thing. So I only associate it with the fact that, like, oh, my teeth are going to be clean. Different things stress out different people differently, which is like, it's a little bit of a lame kind of cop-out answer, but it is the truth. It's not good or bad, it just is. Our perceptions of stress based off of our prior experiences, based off of our upbringing, based off of our beliefs, based off of what we're seeing on the internet, what have you. That is how we then choose to interpret what is stressing us out in our stressors. I'm moving on to washing my tomatoes, and then these two will also go in the veggie scrap bag. And we're just going to cut these to whatever your preference is for salad. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, finely chopped, diced, what have you. I think I'm going to go with slightly larger chunks. Maybe we'll dice it. So I'll cut it in half this way, and then 1, 2. We all do have different stress responses based off of prior experience to being stressed in general and to the specific thing that happens to be stressing us out. It's all comparative as well. I could have 3 really positive interactions with a new coworker, and then like one time one of us says something to the other one that kind of just like makes you not want to interact with them ever again. And suddenly, despite the fact that the interactions beforehand were very positive, it doesn't matter. This is now negative. It's a negative coworker. This is a negative experience. I'm stressed. And we do have different reactions for different settings. There is kind of a default. If I am a conflict avoidant person, the odds of me choosing fight in any given stress response is pretty low. But it's not impossible for me to be pushed to the point where I say, you know what? No, it's time to start swinging. If you push me enough times, eventually I am going to push back. And in this one stressful incident, it's going to be right now. Despite our default settings, right, we do have different responses for different scenarios and situations, and we do tend to fall into one of 5 categories. Fight or flight make up 2 of them. Am I going to rise to this challenge and combat whatever is stressing me out and meet it head on, and whoever comes out of this, and good luck to the other one, or am I maybe going to try avoiding it altogether? Flee from the situation. Not even like de-escalate, just get out. Those are 2. And let me get a salad bowl. Right. I'm gonna get this into here. Get these tomatoes over top. Just kind of, whoops. There we go. Oh, it's a lot of tomatoes. That's okay. I'm going to get this into my veggie scrap bag. So, fight or flight are the first 2 options. You also have things like fawn, or just accommodating and giving in to whatever demands are being made. If someone says things like, you're going to stay late and you're going to do this task, aye, okay, yes I am. Freeze. The mind wipes. Truly, though, the example that comes to mind, at least for me, the times that I freeze the most, or I feel like I freeze the most, is during job interviews. Someone will ask me a question, and I will feel like I have prepared as well as I possibly can, but I was not expecting that to be asked of me. And here we are. How do I answer? And like, they'll start asking the question, and by the end of the question, I'll have already forgotten what it was that they asked. White mind. Okay? That's freeze, and then faint is the other option, where literally you pass out. Faint is faint. For making our vinaigrette, we'll start with, just kidding. Wow, things are coming together beautifully. I'll give this just a very quick toss to make sure that both sides are going. All right, we'll get this back in for another 15 minutes. I'm going to get in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. We'll move on then to our apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of this. 2, half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and we'll do half a teaspoon of lemon juice. And then we give a stir till the tomato paste dissolves. If you've got a blender or a food processor, you're welcome to do that. Regardless of your choice of fight, flight, fawn, freeze, faint, it's a really important reminder that what we are talking about is as old as we are as a species. Stress is a survival response. It has kept us alive. It has a function. It is one of our get up and go sort of responses and reactions to whatever is happening all around us. So as much as we do have negative affiliations with it, because we're no longer necessarily living in the time of predators and you need to react and have reflexes right now kick in or you will die, there is still a functional purpose to it. There is still that drive to survive deep within us. And we do need to acknowledge that. Stress isn't necessarily our enemy. And in fact, it is one of our greatest allies. We would not be here if it weren't for stress and our stress response. It's 6 tablespoons of olive oil. I don't even have that left here. So I'm just going to finish the olive oil. Keep stirring. Okay. It is our survival mechanism. It is our body's way of telling us it's ready to respond to whatever is going on. And what a wonderful thing is that. As much as it's hard to say things like you should be grateful for stress, truly, it is what has kept us alive. It is our survival technique. And I want you all to think about that. Our body's response to stress, the physical response, the cognitive response, it is our act and react response. Our heart starts racing. Our brain releases those hormones that cause us to react. Our breathing changes. Our blood flow constricts away from our digestive system and into our muscles so that you can have a faster reaction time. Our mind hyper focuses in on the thing that is causing us stress. It is this incredible response of readiness. I'm going to use about half of the capers here just to sprinkle over the top. By the way, if you've never tried capers before, give it a taste. See if you even like the flavor before you start adding it in. But that's about half, so I'm going to throw this in the refrigerator. When we stop thinking about stress then as our enemy and start thinking about stress as our friend, I'm going to give this a taste, just a... Ooh, that's coming together so well. What that does is it changes how we feel about it. The next time that we are stressed and we try to do some of these stress relieving techniques like embracing it and getting excited for it because this is my time to shine, this is my body's way of telling me that I've got this and I can handle it. When we can make stress our friend, as Kelly McGonigal says, it helps immensely with our health in the long term. There are different degrees of stress, to include you're not stressed enough. In that spectrum of colors of blue all the way to red, blue is like, I'm not stressed at all. I'm not stressed enough. I'm bored. I'm unmotivated. I don't feel like I'm being utilized and being put to use productively. I feel like this is a waste of my time. I don't feel like a contributor to society, to work, to my family, to whoever. There is such a thing as not enough stress. And we'll talk about ways to then up stress. Green then is like ideal levels of stress. It's experiencing stress in our environment, but finding our flow. It is not such an overwhelming amount of stress that we even notice that it's happening. There are a lot of people who say things like, I don't get stressed. I'm not stressed out. I never stress. Okay. What you're telling me is either you're in the blue and that's not good, or you're in the green and you're really effective at handling and managing stress. Kudos to you, more power to you. I hope that that's you. Something that happens where I do start to notice that I'm stressed. That is where we kind of throw in the yellow. And generally speaking, it's a low to moderate level of stress. It's enough to be like, okay, this is an uncomfortable feeling. I don't necessarily want to feel this for a long time, but I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not at wit's end. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to respond or react to this. And it's usually a short-term sort of a thing that we are able to resolve for ourselves. And then we start getting into the higher levels of, you know what, I don't know that I can resolve this for myself. And that is the orange. I'm not necessarily to the point that I'm gonna like hurt myself or somebody else. I'm not necessarily to the point that I feel I would rather not be here anymore than manage this and handle this. But I'm not okay. Whatever my stress management techniques are, they're not working for me. That is the orange. I alone am somehow seemingly not able to resolve these issues for myself. I need help from friends, from coworkers, from family, from the church, from whoever, wherever you get it from. I need help. That's the orange. And then the red is the most extreme of I need professional intervention. I am perhaps going to hurt myself or somebody else. I am going to make really rash decisions here that I'm going to regret. It's bad. I hope you never have to experience that, but please do know that there is help out there for you, professional intervention. The thing I want to finish off on while we cut up our onion and our pepper and get our chickpeas in here. I've got like 45 seconds left on this timer. They're looking a little toasty, which is good. I like my chickpeas when they're like this to have a little crunch. It's almost like my healthy croutons that are going in the salad. I'm going to give my cutting board a wash while this cools just enough so that I can touch it. I'm going to start with getting my red pepper off. If you want to remove the skin, you are absolutely welcome to. I don't think I will. And I'm going to take out my little knife here and just give a cut. And in it goes. All right. So the last thing that I want to talk about with regards to like making stress your friend and what we call building resilience is, generally speaking, there are kind of like three categories of people who respond to stress and the ways that they respond to it. When stress is in my environment, I freak out. My stress levels elevate because I am me, and this is how I've always responded to stress. It takes me a while to calm back down, which normally is okay. Not great, but okay. But if I'm experiencing like back-to-back stressors where I don't have that time to calm down, then I just continue to escalate. I just keep going high. Oops. Sorry. I forget that you're there. I keep getting higher and higher and higher. And it gets overwhelming to the point that just the idea of future things that I know will stress me out, things like, for example, that upcoming dentist appointment. The idea of having to go to the dentist, just the idea of that stress is enough to continue stressing me out to the point that I can't handle it. I'm stressed all the time. Forget about having like baseline normal. I don't know what that is. I can't remember the last time that I felt it. We're done. Those are my chronic stressors. I hope that that's none of you, but I would imagine that it's more than people would care to admit. The second category of person, who is my maintainer. I can handle stress about as well as the rest of them. I'm at my baseline, I get stressed, and then I can woo-saw my way back down to my baseline. And it doesn't take me as long to calm back down as someone with a chronic stress. So even when multiple stressors hit, it's bad for like a little bit, but I'm eventually able to kind of like woo-saw my way back down. I'm reacting to my stress, but I'm not holding on to it. We'll go in with our onion next. Needs like barely a cut in half, but we'll go ahead and cut it in half just so it's not like overwhelming onion bite. And then last but not least is our people who are building resilience. Stress still happens to these people, but because they don't necessarily view a stress as their enemy, they embrace it and they treat it almost like their friend, as Kelly McGonigal says. I'll go ahead and link that video again since I'm referencing it now. Give it a check out. It's amazing. But because I know that stress is a readiness test, it's a state of being and proving that I have it and I got it and it's going to be okay and it's going to be great. For my chickpeas. Look how gorgeous. Optional ingredients time if you want to sprinkle some Parmesan over the top, which I definitely do. I'm going to do that now. Give it a nice little sprinkle. And then if you did want to get some protein in here, chicken would be great, pork would be good. I think I'm going to add, actually, I've got some canned tuna lying around, so I'll probably add some canned tuna to this. It'll also be very delicious. And then we drizzle our olive oil over the top, or our vinaigrette. The people who are building resilience, embracing stress as their friend, these are the individuals who, they don't just maintain, they actually lower their baseline stress level with time. And these are the people that you strive to be. We'll talk about ways to do that, and we'll talk about resiliency in our next video. I think that concludes everything that I wanted to talk about in our review today, which is very nice and exciting. Thank you for taking care of you. I hope that you enjoy. Bon appetit. So I did wind up adding the can of tuna to it. I hope that you all enjoy this as much as I'm about to. It smells so good. I know it's going to be great. Wow. All right, it's a little sloppy, but it's so good. This is delicious. I hope that you all enjoy. Thank you for taking care of you today. Bon appetit.